From WREG News Channel 3, this is Knowledge Bowl, a test of education where local high school students can win college scholarships. Now, here is your host, Stephanie Skurlock.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Bowl, where each week you get to witness some really smart scholars from right here in the Mid-South. We are into the third round of competition. This week, the Christian Brothers High School take on the Houston High School Mustangs. Let's meet today's players, starting with the blue team from Christian Brothers. We have our captain, Elliot Carey, a senior, Nicholas Efkerman, a senior, Michael Davis, a senior, Colton Free, a sophomore. The alternate for the team is Harrison Hertzford, who you will meet in a moment. Harrison is a senior, and their team coordinator is Susan Hines. Dr. Jamie Broomer is the principal at Christian Brothers. Representing our red team from Houston High, we have our captain, Kyle Jolly, a senior. Give us a wave there, Kyle. Grant Krulowitz, a senior. Helen Yarbrough, a senior. Alan Ching, a sophomore, and the team alternate is Jason Lee, a senior. The team coordinators are Martha Gunn Poole and Bradley Williamson. Haley Ross is the principal at Houston High School. We'll get started in just a moment, but first let's introduce our Knowledge Bowl judge, Dr. Richard Ranton, University of Memphis Dean Emeritus for the College of Communication and Fine Arts. He makes final decisions on any partial or questionable answers and, of course, any timing situations. And Dr. Ranta, each week you let us in on your life, and you have done so much for the Memphis community. One of the things you've been involved in is you have been the past president of the Memphis chapter of the Recording Academy. What exactly is that?
Well, you probably know about the National Recording Academy because they're the folks that put on the Grammys, but there are satellite chapters all over the United States, and we were one of, at one time, 7, and have grown from that into an area that runs all the way from St. Louis to Louisiana. So it's been quite an enlargement from the small chapter it was when I began being president.
So it's an honor to have you on the show with us. Thank you.
Always with you.
All right, well, it is time to get started. We'll begin with our general knowledge questions. The first topic in our general knowledge segment is Proverbs. Question: what proverb about time and the periodic variation in the surface levels of oceans seems to contradict this proverb? Haste makes waste. Nicholas.
Roll with the tide.
Not what we were looking for. Houston. Helen.
Speed makes waves.
No, how about this? Time and tide wait for no man. All right, next topic is in the running. In the running. The question, name the state whose presidential losers include Mo Udall, Bruce Babbitt, Barry Goldwater, and John McCain. Michael.
Arizona.
That is correct. In 2023 is the topic, and this is a 2-sentence question. In October of 2023, U.S. warplanes hit targets linked to Iran retaliation for drone attacks against U.S. bases. Where did the American attacks take place? Nicholas.
Tehran.
Not correct. Houston. Alan.
The Red Sea.
Syria would be the correct answer. Next question. The topic is calculations, and you can use your pencils because this is a math question. It's a 2-sentence question. If a 100-pound weight is 8 feet from the fulcrum, how far from the fulcrum would a 160-pound weight be placed to balance the lever? And that is our clock, letting our players know time is ticking. Colton.
5 feet.
Not correct. Not the answer we're looking for. Houston, you got an answer for us? Time is ticking. Alan.
12.8 feet.
6 feet would be the correct answer. 6 feet. Healthcare, the next topic. Monitoring which vital sign requires systolic and diastolic measure. Helen.
Heart rate.
Not correct. Measurements. Michael.
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure is the correct answer. Prime numbers is the topic. What is the only prime number less than 1,000 and greater than 991? Colton.
997.
Correct. Government. What is the term for a proposed law? Elliot.
Bill.
Correct. Medieval attire. Arrangements of heraldic emblems on the shields of medieval knights are called coats of what? Elliot.
Honor.
Not correct. Houston. Helen.
Arms.
Correct. Coats of arms. Name him is the topic. The colony of New Sweden was founded by what man who had previously founded New Netherland? Michael.
Henry Hudson.
Not correct. Houston, you want to take a stab at this one? Grant.
William of Orange.
Not correct. Peter Minuit would be the correct answer. And we've reached the point where there's an extra credit question. This is a chance for one of the teams to put 25 points on the board. The topic, useful light. Skin cells produce vitamin D upon exposure to what kind of light? Alan.
Sunlight.
Not correct. Colton.
Ultraviolet.
That is correct. Ultraviolet light. Innovations, and this is a two-sentence question. The Toyota Prius was the first hybrid gasoline electric car released in Japan. But what was the first make to be sold in the United States? They started with the Insight, a two-seater capable of getting almost 70 miles per gallon before offering a hybrid version of the Civic. Michael.
Honda.
That is correct. About what planet is the topic? Because its orbit is within the Earth's orbit and nearly in the same plane with it, this planet appears to oscillate to the east and west of the sun's position. Kyle.
Mars.
Not correct. Colton.
Venus.
Venus is the correct answer. In a meeting is the topic. Name the sequence of items to be addressed in a meeting based on the organization's Alan.
Agenda.
That is correct. Historical formations is the topic. What nation was formed by these events? Conquest of Grenada in 1492. Conquest of Kyle.
Spain.
Spain is the correct answer. Arachnids is the topic. What are the poisonous arachnids that first lived on land during the Silurian period? Alan.
Spiders.
Will you accept that?
Nope.
Dr. Ranta will not accept that. Michael.
Tarantulas.
Nope.
Scorpions is the correct answer. Classic book titles is the topic. Question. The Fireman was the original title of which classic? Nicholas.
Fahrenheit 451.
That is correct. And that is our buzzer, which means that ends this first segment. We're back with more Knowledge Bowl. Welcome back to our pop quiz segment. Team members can huddle to discuss the question, but only the captain can give us the answer. You can pass once on each question, but when I come back to it, you must answer. The two categories are authors and their Pulitzer Prize winning books and dystopian novels and their authors. The team with the fewer amount of points on the board gets to choose. Houston, what topic would you like?
Like dystopian novels.
Dystopian novels. All right. I'll give you an example of that. If I said Fahrenheit 451, then you would say Ray Bradbury. I'm looking for the name of the author. All right. Put 60 seconds on the clock. 1984.
George Orwell.
The Handmaid's Tale.
Margaret Atwood.
The Hunger Games.
Suzanne Collins.
The Giver.
Lois Lowry.
Lois Lowry.
The Maze Runner.
Oh, I don't know. Pass.
Pass.
A Clockwork Orange.
Pass.
Brave New World.
Aldous Huxley.
Aldous Huxley.
Divergent.
Pass.
Pass.
Ready Player One.
Pass.
The War of the Worlds.
H.G. Wells.
Going back to The Maze Runner.
Johnson.
Not correct. James Dashner would be the author of that. All right, let's go now to Christian Brothers. And Christian Brothers, that means you have Pulitzer Prize winning books and you are to name the author. Put 60 seconds on the clock after I give you this example. If I said Empire Falls, you would say Richard Russo because that is the author. I'm looking for the name of the author. All right, 60 seconds. Here we go. All the King's Men.
Pass.
Gone with the Wind.
Margaret Mitchell.
The Old Man and the Sea.
Ernest Hemingway.
The Known World.
Pass.
The Road.
Cormac McCarthy.
Beloved.
Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison.
The Color Purple.
Alice Walker. Alice Walker.
The Goldfinch.
Pass.
The Night Watchman.
Pass.
The Underground Railroad.
Colson Whitehead. Colson Whitehead.
Going back to All the King's Men.
Smith.
That is not correct. Robert Penn Warren is the author. All right. Both teams were able to put some points on the board, so that's good. Get you to go back to your pods, and we will get those scores tallied up. All right, let's start with our blue team. Our blue team from Christian Brothers. And Elliot, you are the captain, and Elliot, you are a senior. So was this a team vote, or did you just volunteer to be the captain?
Team vote, yeah.
Better, that's why you're there. All right. Nicholas, you're a senior, and what's your favorite category of questions?
I like the books. The
Okay.
book ones.
Michael, you're a senior. Do you have a specialty?
I'd say history or English.
Okay, you like those kind of questions. And Colton, you're a sophomore. How did you practice with the buzzer?
You start off kind of slow, but you got to learn to like trust yourself. You got to get fast.
Okay, a little practice, like doing it at home or something? Or in
Yeah.
practice? Okay. And Harrison, you're a senior. What's the mindset of an alternate on game day?
I always just got to be ready in case I need to step in for someone else.
Okay, always ready. All right, let's meet our players from Houston High, our red team. Kyle, you're a senior. Is there any extra responsibility that goes along with being captain of the Houston team?
I have to read questions sometimes. It's fun.
Okay. Grant, you're a senior. Did you do anything differently to prepare for the third round?
Nope, nothing differently.
Okay. Helen, you're a senior as well. What do you do during the off season of Knowledge Bowl to stay ready?
Oh gosh. I read a lot and I try to stay updated on current events, and you know, that's kind of all you can do. I try to just be a sponge.
Okay, just absorb it all. Yeah. Alan, you're a sophomore. What made you want to join the team at Houston?
Well, I just had a lot of random information that I knew, so I kind of wanted to put it to use.
Hey, trivia is the best way to do that. And Jason, you're the team alternate. Why did you join the team as a senior?
Oh, I was actually a junior last year.
Okay, so you were on the team last year.
Oh yeah. I joined because I won a game during summer camp, and one of my friends told me that I should also play.
Okay, well, glad to have you on the team. When we come back, we'll test our skills again. Welcome back to Knowledge Bowl. It's time for more general knowledge questions. And the first topic of this segment, weapons of war. What inexpensive weapon led to 1 out of every 334 Angolans and 1 in every 384 Cambodians becoming amputees? Alan.
Landmines.
That is correct. Metaphor types. Question, what is the name of these kinds of confused lines? A rolling stone is worth 2 in the bush. You're biting the hand that rocks the cradle. Her dirty laundry is coming home to roost. I guess the foot's on the other hand now. The fickle finger of fate raised its ugly head. Nicholas.
Mixed metaphors.
And that is correct. Location is the topic. In what state is the Wright Brothers National Memorial located? Elliot.
North Carolina.
Correct. Extra credit question is up next, worth 25 points. The topic, according to Edison. Question, express as a fraction the part that perspiration plays in genius according to Thomas Edison. Elliot.
99 over 100.
That is correct. 99 over 100. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration by Thomas Edison. All right, active voice is the next topic. Transform this sentence into the active voice. The statue was sculpted by Sharon. Colton.
Sharon sculpted the statue.
Correct. Crops. What is the most important agricultural crop of Taiwan? Nicholas.
Rice.
Correct. What parts of speech? What kind of dependent clause completes this sentence? I'll wash your golden chariot tonight unless it turns into a pumpkin. Nicholas.
A proper clause.
That is not correct. Houston? Helen?
Preposition.
Adverb clause would be the correct answer. Next topic is from the gadget, and this is a 2-sentence question. Paul Zendel's story, The Gadget, is about a boy who goes to live with his father at Los Alamos in 1945. What is the gadget? Nicholas.
An atomic bomb.
Correct. Old sayings, a 2-sentence question. A 19th century speaker jokingly claimed he had a lot of votes in Old Betsy, referring not to ballots, but to the persuasive power of the object he was carrying. What? Grant.
The American flag.
What was it? And that is not correct. Christian Brothers? Nicholas.
A guitar.
No, a gun is what he was carrying. And we've come to the point where we have another math question. Get your pencils if you'd like, because you can use them. This is a 2-sentence question. 1 lap around the Broken Bow High School track is 440 yards. 440 yards. How many times would you have to run around this track to cover 2 miles? Elliot.
No.
10.
Moved on.
All right, you're not fast enough for the judge. So Houston. Grant.
10.
8 would be the correct answer. Anatomy is the topic. The head of which bone forms a ball and socket joint in the Michael.
Hip.
Forms a ball and socket joint with the hip. Helen.
The femur.
That is correct. In 1892 is the topic. In 1892, within sight of the Statue of Liberty, the U.S. Immigration Bureau opened a central... Michael.
Ellis Island.
That is correct. Opened a central facility for handling immigrants on what island? And that island? Ellis Island. Finish the line. Finish the line. And this is a two-sentence question. Despite claims in many nations that everybody is equal under the law, there is no doubt that the wealthy elite enjoy privileges unavailable to others. In this regard, how does this line from George Orwell's Animal Farm end? Helen.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
You finally got there, yeah.
Okay, you got it. I was going to give you part of it, but you said the whole thing, which had the answer in it, so you were correct. Extra credit question, 25 points for someone. Name this river, a two-sentence question. David Thompson traveled 56,000 miles across the United States starting in 1797, mapping 1.9 million square miles. In 1806, he began several years of mapping the entire length of which river from the beginning in the Canadian Rockies to the Pacific? Kyle.
Colorado.
That is not correct. Michael.
Snake.
Columbia River would be the correct answer. And the next topic is geography. What is the easternmost U.S. state, both in its extreme points and... Michael.
Alaska.
Both in its extreme points and in its geographic center? Helen.
Maine.
Correct. Maine is the correct answer. And that is our buzzer, and that concludes this segment. We're back with our final exam round. It's time for our final exam round. These are current event questions. First question. In February 2026, Jeremy Hansen, Victor Glover, Reed Wiseman, and Christina Koch were all set to travel in April to where? Nicholas.
The International Space Station.
That is not correct. Houston? Helen.
New York Fashion Week.
That is not correct. Beyond the moon, farther in space than any other person has ever gone. On February 11, 2026, 10 people were killed in a mass shooting at a school and nearby home in what Canadian Kyle?
British Columbia.
That is correct. In February 2026, it marks the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, which was started as Black History Week by what historian? Michael.
W.E.D. Du Bois.
That is not correct. Houston? Grant.
Booker T. Washington.
That is not correct. Carter Woodson would be the correct answer. Carter G. Woodson. On February 22nd, 2026, one of the major Mexican cartel leaders, Ruben N., also known as El Mencho, was killed in a battle between Mexican forces and what drug cartel? Nicholas.
New Haliste?
That is not correct. Kyle.
Jalisco.
No.
Jalisco New Generation Cartel would be the correct answer. On February 22nd, 2026, 65 million or what percent of the contiguous United States population were covered by storm alerts? Nicholas, hit the buzzer.
The Mid-South.
What percent? That is not correct. Kyle.
33%.
20% is the correct answer, not 33. Next question. A husband and wife team from Duluth, Minnesota won a 2026 Olympic medal on February 10th in what unusual winter sport? Grant.
Curling.
That is correct. Who was the most valuable player in the 2026 Super Bowl? Michael.
Kenneth Walker.
That is correct, from Memphis. Well, a suburb of Arlington. Next question. From the March 15, 2026 Oscars, the film Sinners received the most nominations with how? Michael.
16.
That is correct. On February 23rd, 2026, United Kingdom police detained former... Michael.
Andrew Windsor.
That is not correct. I will finish the question. United Kingdom police detained former ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, on suspicion of misconduct while in public office for allegedly doing what? Helen.
Accepting a bribe.
That is not correct. Passing on confidential information to Jeffrey Epstein. Next question. What Memphis museum placed number 5 in USA Today's 2026 ranking of the best music museums? Kyle.
Stax Museum.
That is not correct. Michael.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That is not correct. Rock and Soul Museum is the name of the museum. Who is the most decorated United States women's hockey player of all time? Michael.
Hillary Knight.
That is correct. And that is our buzzer, which means we are out of time for this segment. We're back with some final thoughts. We had a great game today, but we can only have one winner. The score, 245 to 135. That means Kristen Brothers moves on to the next round, the semifinal round. Who's up next?
Well, we have Collierville, and we also have Briarcrest.
Okay, should be a good game. Well, I'm Stephanie Skurlock, and that wraps up this week's Knowledge Bowl. We'll see you back next week.